Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another episode of Bugrock of the Week. Today we're going to be covering the new 1.17 Caves and Cliffs features in the new Bedrock Edition betas. Recently they have added copper, lightning rods, and glow squids, with the addition of a couple other small features that we were missing from previous updates. In today's video we're going to be covering everything that there is to see with these new features, along with all the bugs, glitches, and issues that these new features have. That way you are fully up to date on everything that there is to know about these new features and with these new betas. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different than our normal beta coverage. Hopefully you do enjoy, and of course let me know your feedback for this episode down in the comment section. I would like to mention that these three new feature sets, the copper, lightning rods, and glow squids, are the only three new feature sets in the recent Bedrock Edition betas. We've yet to see the new cave generation or cave biomes or anything like that on Bedrock Edition as of yet. All of that has been added to Java Edition and their snapshots, and when we eventually get that on Bedrock Edition, you can be sure I'll be making a video all about that, so stay tuned. And just one more thing before we actually get into the feature sets, we're going to be covering beta 1.16.210.57. We're going to be covering the 0.58 and 0.59 betas as well, and as of now, they have officially discontinued the RTX betas, so there's no more RTX betas, there's only the regular betas, and I would imagine any future development for RTX would just be done within the regular betas as well, now that RTX has fully released. Also, furthermore, we are making a slight change to the series when it comes to how I cover the betas. We're going to be giving a major focus to all of the bugs and issues with the new features inside of the betas. That way, we can make sure all of the bugs and issues and everything that's wrong with the new features gets reported to the developers and gets reported to the bug tracker. That way, they can hopefully fix things before it comes out in the main version. It's kind of our responsibility as beta testers and people who play on the betas to report the bugs and to report the issues, as kind of the entire point of betas. So that is going to be the new focus of all of my beta videos, but as we're focusing on the bugs, I can also cover the new features as well. So first up, we have the copper blocks. These are a very interesting new building block, and they sound really cool when you place and break them as well. It's very metallic, and I love it so much. So first of all, we have just the normal straight up copper. This is before it oxidizes. And then we have the standard exposed copper, which is like the first stage of oxidization. And then we have weathered copper, which is all of these ones. And finally, the fully oxidized copper too. Now, eventually these things will oxidize over time. Supposedly it takes about 40 in-game days for them to turn into the oxidized version. You can see from the creative inventory here that we have a lot of new copper blocks to clog up the creative menus. As you can see, we have the regular cut, exposed, weathered, and oxidized. However, you can actually prevent these copper things from oxidizing. So as you can see, we have the waxed exposed, and then the waxed weathered. So if you want to, you can actually prevent these things from oxidizing at all. So you can keep them in this state, you can keep them in this state, or you can keep them in this state, or you can just let them oxidize all of the way. All you need to do to wax these things and to prevent them from oxidizing further is simply to put them into the crafting grid. So we can take some of these copper stairs and put them with some honeycombs, and as you can see, we're now going to have the waxed versions. It takes one honeycomb per copper to prevent them from oxidizing over time, but that allows you to keep them in this state and prevent them from changing color. Overall, these are pretty fascinating, and I really love the oxidized version. It goes well with the blue color palette of the game. So how exactly do you make copper? Well, first of all, you have to find copper ore, which now generates in the world. Generally, you'll find ore veins anywhere from 1 to about 10 copper ore, so it is fairly common, and you'll see this very often down the caves, which is very important because, you know, they expect us to really build out of this stuff a lot and make like entire roofs and entire cities out of this copper, so it's good that this is going to be very common. Of course, when you find the copper ore, you can chuck that into a blast furnace or a regular furnace, smelt that down, and then you need 4 of the different copper ingots to make a single one of these copper blocks, as you can see here. If you put these guys into the stone cutter, then you can make these ones with the little, grid on it. Currently, there are not any crafting recipes for these stairs, slabs, or other versions of the copper that you can see in the creative inventory. These should be coming rather soon. The first and only bug that I've noticed with the copper is actually the copper ore texture itself. If you put it down and look at it, you'll see that there is a little bit of a something weird with it. Maybe you won't notice it on that one, but if we place another one, now do you notice the difference? Tell me you see the difference. You see the difference, right? Well, how about we look at it in a wall over here, for example. Now do you see it? The ore is vertically aligned. So how all the stone is there's like horizontal lines going all the way across. It's pretty easy to tell, honestly. And now the ore itself is got vertical lines. It does not blend at all with the actual stone. We double check this on Java Edition, and yeah, there's no directionality with the copper ore. So this has actually got the same kind of texturization, like variation as grass blocks do. If you've noticed this before, whenever you place down a grass block, it will have a slightly different texture or a rotated texture depending on where exactly you place it in the world. So if we look at all of these, you'll see that the texture is rotated from one another, and that just kind of makes the grass blocks all blend together rather well. This also apparently applies to the copper ore. If we place these down in a row, you'll see that every single one of these flips direction and flips orientation and stuff like that. It's completely weird, and this is not something that should happen. But yeah, you can really notice that just about every single time we place one of these, it flips direction, and if we look at this wall, it just does not look good at all. This needs to be fixed. My beautiful, beautiful copper ore is just all kinds of ugly. There's only one more thing to talk about when it comes to the copper, and that is the fact that we can now get it from drowns. So instead of drowns dropping gold ingots like they used to rarely, they will now rarely drop a single copper ingot. I have a looting 255 sword just for better demonstration, and as you can see, when we kill this guy, we're only ever going to get a single copper ingot, and we're not going to get copper that often from killing these guys, unfortunately. I was thinking that hopefully we would get maybe 3, maybe 4 copper ingots when they do decide to drop one, because we need so much different copper to build even a small roof or a small build or just a little bit of decoration. One copper ingot isn't really gonna do much, and honestly, who's killing drowns that often? It just doesn't really make much sense for them to only drop one. And next up, we have the lightning rod. This is a very fascinating block that's really going to change a lot of different build styles, and it makes the fire spreads way less, you know, terrifying due to the lightning. So all you need for this is 3 copper and a line, and then you'll be able to craft this in a crafting table. And as you can see, then you'll get yourself 1 lightning rod. This is basically retextured chains in a sense, so you can place it on any side of the block, upside down, vertical, and it doesn't need a supporting block to, you know, float in the middle of the air. So it's not going to pop off like, you know, a carpet or something like that. This also has some of these same bugs as the chains when it comes to waterlogged and, you know, unrendering water behind it, as you can see. So basically the same bug that chains currently have. And you cannot waterlog this block on Bedrock Edition or Java. I'm not sure if that is coming to Minecraft. I just really don't know, but currently you can't waterlog it on any platform. Onto the actual mechanics of the lightning rod. This will attract lightning within a 64 block radius. So for example, if lightning was going to strike over here, it would instead be redirected and hit one of these lightning rods, and these things need to have a sky access. So for example, if there's any blocks anywhere above this lightning rod, it is not going to get struck by lightning, as you can see here. If you happen to throw a channeling trident at a lightning rod, that will also summon lightning too, which is very interesting considering that the lightning rod is not an entity, which is typically required to get lightning from a channeling trident. Lightning rods, of course, put out a redstone signal when struck by lightning, and they put out a full signal strength of 15. As you can see, all of those blocks all the way over there are getting powered, which is very interesting. These also function just as a redstone block when powered by lightning. So as you can see, if we strike that one, it's only going to turn on the lamp. If we put one on the side of that block, it's going to soft power the lamp and not turn on any of this redstone on the other side. It basically acts exactly how a redstone block does when that's placed down, and how that interacts with other various bits of redstone. There's actually several bugs with the lightning rod. First of all, if you just pick block this guy, you won't be able to place down the lightning rod at all, which is very, very fascinating. I haven't really seen that with many other blocks in the game, but it is an interesting one indeed. Also, you can't drop it out of your inventory unless you go into your inventory and throw it out like that. So yeah, just basically don't pick block these things. Either craft it or just grab it from the creative inventory and you'll be fine. fine. The next issue that we have is a little bit of a disparity between Bedrock Edition and Java Edition. So here on Bedrock Edition, if I throw a channeling trident at that creeper right there, it is not going to actually strike the creeper with lightning. Instead, the lightning is going to get redirected to the lightning rod. However, the lightning rod is not going to put out a redstone signal. We can demonstrate that again by throwing this channeling trident, and as you can see, no signal from the lightning rod. On Java Edition, the lightning actually hits the thing that you throw the trident at. And if we hop over to Java Edition, you can see this demonstration here as well. We throw the trident at the creeper, it actually strikes the creeper. The lightning does not get redirected to the rod. I'm not sure which one of these is the intended mechanics of the game. However, there's definitely a disparity between the two, and Bedrock Edition seems to be the buggier version, just in general. Another thing that I've noticed as of this beta is that there is a super small amount of lightning strikes now. In previous Bedrock Edition betas and updates, there was just like lightning non-stop all the time, like so much lightning. However, nowadays we're getting like one lightning strike every couple minutes, and it's really quite odd. It's not normal at all for Bedrock Edition. And next up, we have the beautiful, beautiful glow squid. These guys actually look really, really impressive. As you can see, it's, you know, just a standard nighttime out, but these guys actually grow from very, very far away. And they go through the ocean, and they glow through everything, and they look even more impressive from underwater as well. As you can see, I don't have any form of night vision or conduit power or anything, but these guys are still super glowy, and they just look really, really awesome. Currently, these guys do not naturally spawn in the Minecraft world. You need to get yourself a spawn egg, and of course, when you kill them, they will drop some of the glow ink. The texture is quite impressive. I'm very happy with this mob, actually. Like, the mouth area is just amazing. Glowy. The little feet are super glowy as well, and I think this is gonna look extra amazing when we get RTX, or, you know, when we have RTX enabled and all that good stuff. Also, the developers have said that glow squids are in the process of being able to spawn in the new cave generation. So you'll be able to find these guys underwater and various areas of caves and rivers and ponds and all kinds of amazing stuff like that. Seriously, these are going to be such an atmospheric mob. Can't wait. Here we have a better demonstration to fully show their texture. As you can see, they have a really cute little face. They're so adorable. They got a cute little backside and sides and top. They got cute little feet. They got a cute little mouth area thing. That's their mouth, right? It's not their butt. I think it's their mouth. Yeah. Then what's that little thing right there? They have a mouth on the front and the bottom, because that kind of looks like a mouth too. I'm not going to question it. They just have multiple mouths, okay? So let's talk about the actual glow ink that you get from killing the glow squids. This is kind of a brand new thing that we can do in Bedrock Edition and in Minecraft in general. If you combine the glow ink with a regular item frame and a crafting table, you can then get yourself a glow item frame, and this allows you to have glowing items and glowing item frames even when there's no light at all. So the ones on the left are the normal item frames, and the ones on the right are the glow item frames. You might not see any difference as of right now, but if we go ahead and switch it to nighttime real quick, you will see what the difference is. As you can see, the glow frames are fully illuminated, and so are the items inside of the glow frames, whereas the normal frames are just dark and dismal and just kind of like not fascinating at all. While we're talking about this, it is a good time to mention that the actual texture of the item frame itself when placed is incorrect. As you can see, the item texture has the kind of glowy background, but the placed item frame has just the standard background texture. If we look at Java Edition, you can see what the proper texture should be, so hopefully they'll add this in a later beta. But wait, there's more! Now we can click on signs with any color of dye, glow ink sacks, or regular ink sacks to change the color and intensity of sign text, which is a pretty interesting thing. This will of course consume the dye, so for example, if we click on the sign right here with a white dye, you'll see that it does just barely change the text color. It is honestly way too dark of a natural color. They need to make this significantly brighter, because otherwise it doesn't really seem like there's much difference between really any of the text colors. Black is like the most pronounced of any of them, and all the others are very, very subdued, and you can barely notice the color at all. But as you can see, you can click on all the signs with a die, and that will technically change the text color, and it will change all of the text color on the entire sign, not just one line. Every single word on the sign will be updated. Now, you can also make the text glow as well. So by clicking on it with a glow sack, as you can see, it will now glow and be neon, and that actually makes them stand out significantly more. And not only that, when it is now nighttime, you can see that text very, very clearly on all of these signs. If you want to remove the glow, then you can simply click on it with a normal ink sac. That won't remove the color. You have to actually like change the color manually with another die. Now, technically, you don't need dyes at all because you can still use this stacked S symbol to actually dye the color of the text. And then whenever you change the color of the text using that stacked S, you cannot dye over it. So for example, that blue right there is from that stacked S. We cannot dye that blue to any other color. However, we can make it darker, make it more neon as well, but we cannot change the actual color of that text. So as you can see, you can actually have access to all of the various different colors using different combinations of that little symbol and various numbers or letters on your keyboard to get all the different colors. But without a glow ink sac, that is what the sign is going to look like. Not really that bright at all. So if you want the nice fancy bright colors, you're gonna have to get yourself a glow ink sac. That is basically all of the new features that I want to cover in today's video and all of the bugs relevant to those features as well. However, there's still several other bugs and bug fixes that I want to talk about for these new betas. First of all, I noticed a new rendering glitch where barrier blocks kind of render behind glass blocks. As you can see, these barrier blocks are technically on top of them, but whenever the glass should be rendered behind them, it kind of looks like it's rendering in front of the barrier. However, when the barrier is behind the glass, it doesn't really look that different. If you remember a couple of episodes ago, I showed that the nether fog scaled with render distance. So if you had a very low render distance, then the fog would be very close to you. And if you had a higher render distance, then that fog would be pushed back to the edge of where the chunks were loaded. Now, that change has actually been undone because apparently it was considered a bug. And as you can see, now all of the fog is very close to the player once again, and we can no longer see anything at all in the nether. I'm kind of against this change, and I'm not really a fan of it. It was very beautiful when we could crank up the render distance to 80 chunks and just see like the entire nether forever. That was a very fun thing. Although I do understand that the nether fog is a very big part of the nether, I think there is some form of compromise to be found here where, you know, it's not like literally 20 blocks away from your face. A small graphical bug has been fixed that you may have noticed. Whenever the durability bar is showing for a tool, weapon, or armor, that durability bar will once again show when you are picking up the item and moving it around in your inventory. Previously, that durability bar would only show when it was placed in your inventory, not when you were picking it up and moving it around, which was kind of annoying. Interestingly enough, we have had a bug fix with smelting when I just mentioned 2 bugs with them in the last episode. So now whenever you smelt down nether bricks, they will actually give you the experience from them. So if we power that guy real quick and take the brick out of here, we should get a little bit of experience. And indeed we did. So now you can go back to smelting down all the nether bricks that you desire, and you'll get XP from all of them. Oh yeah, they also kind of just low-key fix player launchers using TNT, aka TNT cannons in Bedrock Edition. Look at this. Oh my god, we didn't even really take that much damage. That's amazing. TNT launchers have never worked on Bedrock Edition. Legitimately never? This is so fun. These are like legitimately some of the funnest things in Minecraft, and they now work on Bedrock Edition. All you really need is a few dispensers surrounding you. Make sure the TNT is in water, stand in the middle, profit. Oh my god, this is so fun. I haven't messed around with these in like 4 years because Bedrock Edition. I'm pretty sure there's a saying somewhere about too much of a good thing, but I kind of want to put that to the test. It's just how much TNT is too much TNT. Precisely, not that much. We can do better. Only 467 blocks. Pathetic. TNT cannon test number 2 with a lot of TNT going all the way up to 1,363. That's a pretty good launch. I'm quite happy with that, actually. So of course, let me know what you think about the new format for this Bugrock series. It's kind of my first time trying the all the features and all the bugs format, so it might take me a couple of episodes to kind of get into the flow of doing this, but let me know what you think. I'll try and keep you guys as up to date as I can in the future Bugrocks with all the features and all of the bugs as well. If you do ever find any bugs in these Bedrock Edition betas, let me know in the comment section down below, on Discord, on Twitter, wherever is convenient for you, and I will try and get that into an episode sometime soon. Otherwise, I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode of Bugrock of the Week. Of course, if you did, make sure to leave a like on the video. It really does help out the video and the channel a ton. If you're new here, consider subscribing or maybe sharing around the video so that you and or others can enjoy the videos in the future. I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.